By the end of today's video, we're going to turn your hinge into the most powerful position in the gym. A good hinge has one main goal, and that's to keep your center of body balanced while you're lowering weight. To do this, you have to do two things. Keep the weight close and stick your ass back. So the hip hinge is all about keeping the weight close to your body. So to do that, we just got to kind of think like we're lowering the bar down our legs. To keep ourselves balanced, we have to shift our weight back. I like to tell people it's kind of as if I'm sticking my butt back to close the door behind me when I'm walking out of a room. So you're really kind of sticking your butt back. When it comes to your feet, you're trying to keep the weight of your body through the middle of your foot. You're not leaning super far back into your heels, and you're not leaning forward into your toes. You're just trying to keep your body right through the middle of your foot. So I'm first going to demonstrate a Romanian deadlift or a straight leg deadlift, where I'm starting with a bar resting on my thighs. I'm only going to have a slight knee bend, and I'm sticking my butt back as far as I can, and then coming back up. In my mind, I'm not thinking about lowering my back down or lowering my chest down. All I'm thinking about is sticking my butt back as far as I can, and my body follows the pattern there. When doing a deadlift, you're starting with the bar on the ground, and now you have more knee bend. Again, what I'm really focusing on here is bringing my hips through forward and then sticking my butt back as far as I can, but adding that knee bend component. So I'm driving my hips through, lowering down by sticking my butt back and adding that knee bend to bring the bar down. When you start with a deadlift, your arms are going to be more over top of the bar or a little bit forward because we want to keep the weight as close to the center of our mass as we can. When learning to be successful for the Romanian deadlift, keep your legs shoulder width apart. You're going to grab the bar with either an overhand grip or an over-under grip. The two main things I'm really trying to focus on is my center of mass by sticking my butt back and keeping my core engaged, my spine in a nice neutral position. So I'm going to begin by grabbing the bar here with a double over grip, starting with the bar on my thighs, core is engaged, and I'm sticking my butt back as far as I can. Feet are level, and once I feel the hamstring stretch, I stop. So I'm just going until I feel the hamstring stretch and then coming up. For a deadlift, you'll go all the way down by bending your knees, but for the Romanian deadlift, you're going to stop at the hamstring stretch. Here's the most common mistakes people make when they're doing a hip hinge for Romanian deadlift or a deadlift. When they're starting with the bar, their legs are locked and they're leaning forward into their toes. You can see how far the bar is away from my knees. When you do that, you take your hamstrings and glutes out of it, and all the torque is going through your low back. Makes you weaker because you don't have your primary muscle movers to help with lifting weight. So by keeping it closer, you can lift heavier. So the big mistake is you're straight leg and they're leaning forward and their weight's into their toes. People do this when they try to do a row as well, which is not a strong position as being in a hinge and then rowing. The better your hinge, the better other gym exercises like barbell rows, dumbbell rows, and back flies are going to be. So now that I've learned how to hinge, I can apply it to a barbell row and really focus on working my lats while my hamstrings and glutes are supporting the weight. I'm going to do a double under grip for my barbell row. So I'm going to set up by being in a hinge, and you can see my chest is parallel to the floor, and I'm just rowing straight up. Now, because I have a good hinge, I have excellent balance right now, and I can just focus on my full lat movement and my scapular movement to really be engaged. Also, because I have a good hinge, I'm stronger and I can lift more weight because I am more stable. I can also apply this to like my dumbbell back flies, where I'm lowering into my hinge and I can really focus on my scapular retraction, keeping the dumbbells close to my shins, and all the weight is centered and stable, and I can really just focus on my scapular retraction and my arm movements. Being able to hip hinge is the most powerful position in the gym, and it's going to give you a lot of ultimate body strength, by being able to lift heavier weights, by feeling stable and more confident. You want to practice hip hinging with deadlifts, RDLs, barbell rows, dumbbell rows, back flies, and try to do these hamstring lengthening movements to help with the eccentric loading to really get into a hinge. So here's 2 hamstring lengthening exercises I really like. To warm up my hamstrings before I hinge, one of the exercises I like to do is this supine 90-90. Now this is my chronically torn hamstring on my left side here. Now what I really like to see is when I warm up, my hamstring gets closer and closer to being straight. When you're doing this exercise, you're trying to keep your thigh as vertical as you can, and you're straightening your knee to feel the pull in the back of your leg. Don't point your toes towards your head, as that can increase the nerve tension. Just let your foot relax, really just focusing on straightening this knee here. I like to do 1 set of 20 to 30 repetitions for this exercise, but you can easily break this up into 2 sets of 15 to 20. And it's all about feeling that stretch in the hamstring. This is a great activation exercise or just a mobility exercise before you lift and doing any hinging motions. Another that I like is the half kneeling lunge. For this one, I'm going to focus on sticking my hips back, keeping my core and spine neutral while trying to straighten the front of my knee. This here really kind of helps with adding that hinging aspect into it. So the first exercise I showed really focused on the knee straightening, but here we're adding the hip hinge back while straightening the knee. So we're lengthening the hamstring on both ends here. So this, you should feel a nice pull in the back of the leg. Purpose is not to get as far as you can because we're not stretching our back with this exercise. We're just trying to engage the hamstring. So keeping your core neutral, focus on shifting your butt back. Some people lean too far back into their leg here, and it's uncomfortable because they're not doing a hinge. They're just leaning back. So keep your hips centered over your bottom knee here, and that'll really emphasize your butt hinge and lengthening that hamstring. Again, I like to do 1 set of 20 to 30 reps each side, but you can easily break this up into 2 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Now we have a good idea what a good hip hinge looks like, where we have the weight close to our body and we're sticking our butt back as our primary focus, keeping our weight centered to the middle of our foot and our spine neutral. Then we went through where we can apply it to all our different exercises in the gym and 2 hamstring specific warm-up exercises to help with the lengthening to make your hinge feel more comfortable. This is definitely the most powerful position in the gym, and once you master it, your weights will increase and go up in all your lifts that involve hinging. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment below of something that you'd be interested to see next. Tune in next time.